All right, so here's our first example of how to actually factor a polynomial. They give you one x squared minus 9x equals 18. So they're asking you first to identify what is the b, what is the c. I'm going to add on to that what is a. So a equals blank, b equals blank, c equals blank. So you need to identify what is a, what is b, what is c. So in this case, remember back to what we talked about at the beginning, a is the number before the x squared, b is the number before the x, and c is the number kind of all by itself without a variable. So you should be able to say, well, a is not 0. Remember, there's a number there. It's 1. B is -9. And C is 18. And then they explain the process. So because C is positive, B is negative, you need to find two negative factors with a sum of -9 product of 18. So what they're saying is you need to find two numbers that multiply. Let's see where I can write that. Multiply to become 18, and they combine to -9. So where are you going to start? Well, they kind of do it in a table form, which I think is helpful. And they say, well, here's all the factors of 18. So they basically said, well, how do you make 18? How do you multiply things to 18? Well, you say 1 times 18. So that's the first one, but they give you negatives. Why do you think they did negatives? Any ideas there? Most of you are like, I don't know. You tell me. You're the teacher. All right. I guess you got me there. So why does it have to be negative? Think about it for a minute. If you add things together, if they're both positive, are you going to end up with a -9? Think about it. No, you're not going to. Like if you had a +5 and a +10 or whatever, is it going to give you a -9 when you add them together? No, it's not. So then you say, well, what if one was negative, one was positive? Well, you could do that, but remember they have to multiply to become 18. If you multiply a negative number times a positive number, does it ever give you that positive 18? No. So what's the only way to make positive numbers when you multiply them? Positive times positive, or negative times negative. So that's why they know, well, let's think through this and be smart about it. It has to be a negative number times a negative number to give you that positive number, 18. But regardless, these are all the factors. So 1 and 18, then they say, well, the next would be 2 times 9, and then -3 times -6. So those are the only options. So now it's asking you to sum or combine them. So we say, okay, well, -1 times plus -18, or combine them together, you end up with a -19. And then -2 times negative or plus -9, combine those together, you get -11. And then you have a -3 and a -6, combine those together, and you end up with a -9. So I'm going to let you think through that for a minute, which is our winning combination. Can't be the first two. Nope. And why not? Well, because although these two work to give you a factor of 18 when you multiply them, the -19 didn't work because we needed to make it a -9. So then you say, okay, well, this next one didn't work. Nope, because that once again give you -11. But here's your solution here. -3, -6. When you multiply them, give you 18, but when you add them, you end up with a -9. So that's my dad. I'm looking for dogs. German short hair pointer. Have you seen those dogs before? They're pretty cool. They're very hyper. But anyway, hopefully that won't interrupt us again. I apologize for that. So using that, the correct factors are, yes, I know. Thanks, Dad. So the correct factors are -3 and -6. And so when you multiply those together, that's our winning combination. So they're basically saying, well, how do you take that then and insert it into the equation? Well, once again, if we take this trinomial and we break it up, we're looking for the m and the p. They're just filling in the blank. We know it's a -3 and a -6. And then they're saying, well, now rewrite it. And so without the pluses, because it's kind of awkward when you have a positive, so you're adding a negative number. So when you add a negative number, it's the same thing as subtraction. So you end up with the two factors, x minus 3 times x minus 6. And that's the process of factoring. You're looking for two numbers. We found them, the -3 and -6, the two magic numbers that when you multiply them, they give you the 18. When you add them, they give you the -9. So there you go. Now we're going to look at example 2.